Welcome, Commanders. This is a tutorial of the tutorial. It is like a reinforced tutorial of the very first campaign. That this is just the first battle, and it is mandatory in the game.
The Emperor Karl believes in your abilities and is asking you to lead the armies of Adamantia into battle. But can you really lead an army? If it is the first time you take part into a war of Eukarion, maybe the legendary Commander Fergus could teach you something useful.
So we use this battle in a narrative way to try to give you some very essential, important information about the game. I know this could be very boring, and usually a gamer wants to start to play immediately the game, but for Fantasy Commander is not a usual tactical turn-based game. We developed the game almost like a war game, a fantasy war game. And the battle system that we used, that is the Archangelus battle system, has a lot of very interesting rules, but that can be a little bit difficult for more casual gamers. I know it could be annoying to have a very big tutorial at the start of the game, but for this game it is really necessary to know some very important strategical and tactical rules and features. Let's start.
Commander, considering we are both true warriors, let us not stand upon ceremony. The Emperor requires your services in war instead of wasting time with pretend fighting. I'm sure you look forward to playing for real. Then shall we begin your training?
Okay, as we can read in Fantasy Commander, is a strategy turn-based RPG game, and there are two phases, the classical phases in which you play and then play your enemy.
In battle, you must first analyze the field, the deployment and the typology of the enemy units.
As you can see, if we move on a unit, we can show the characteristics, that is attack, damage, range, defense, armor, morale, movement and life of the unit. These are quite easy characteristics for each unit. Very important are the terrains: plain, forest, hill, mountain, marsh. And each type of terrain affects how the units move around and fight. And then we have the territories with buildings. These are very particular point of the map. The main ones are villages, towns, castles and temples. And the buildings affects how units moves around and fight. And in general, units sizing an hexagon with buildings receive notable bonuses in defense. And don't have another rule that we will see later. Don't have the problem of the orientation in the building. When a unit is posted in a building, it faces all the enemies like it was the frontal part of the units.
After surveying the battlefield, it is advisable to identify the targets.
Here you can see the objectives. Two kinds of objectives, primary and secondary. In the briefing we can always check the objective in our mission.
Now that you know what to conquer and who to fight, it is time to deploy the army.
units deployment phase is obviously a very important phase of the game. Here we have one of the heroes, Eladen, that we will encounter in one of the campaign of the game, and we can place in the highlighted X.
For the glory of Headmal!
She's an enchantress, and so usually it's better to not to place in the first line this kind of unit. Also the archers. It's better to have always the archers not in the front line and stay behind other units, because the archers support in defense the units that they are connected adjacent to. Here we have dwarves infantry, and we will place it here near the mountains because they move faster and fight better with the mountains.
At your orders,
Each race has have more bonuses or maluses in different territories. Human don't have specific bonus maluses, but elves and dwarves, yes, obviously elves in the forest and dwarves in the mountains. But also the enemies have these bonuses and maluses. For example, for the orcs, their preferred territory is the swamp. That usually is not very good for all other races in the game.
In this simulation, we will face units not unlike ours that will play the role of the enemy. Other special units such as cavalry, men-at-arms, dwarvish defenders, or the Lady of the Woods will be unveiled to you in the real war of the Eukarion. Start moving the army. The battle is on!
Usually, not always, but usually is better to move and fire with archers. It's a very important tactical phase to try to hit the enemy from the distance before and then in melee.
Who is the target to shoot?
We will move this archer not adjacent, but this way. The zone of control, ZOC, is a very important rule that is connected to the old school war games, and each unit exerts this zone of control in all the adjacent axes, and when a unit enters in a ZOC must stop his movement there. It's very important for you to plan your advance, but also to organize your defense against the enemies. A mission where you have to defend some very important point for you, and to slow the advance of the enemy.
In battle, you must always be alert and learn to make difficult choices at just the right time. Now, show me how you would attack the enemies that you see carelessly positioned in front of our unit. Remember, carefully weigh all the possible outcomes of the fight.
As I said before, there are melee attacks and ranged attack. And before you launch an attack, you can predict the outcome with the battle prediction window. There's a warning, this is just a prediction. There is not a certain outcome of the battle. There's always a 50% for the battle to go better or worse than expected. And there are also the critical hit or the very bad attack. Now we can select any unit. We will select the infantry. Add an infantry and see the battle prediction. Now I can show also you this different prediction from the frontal attack and from the side attack. This is a very important and crucial rule in the game, the orientation and the fronts of each unit. It's always better to try to outflank the enemy. The best attack that you can do is on the back of the unit. And so, in attack, you must try to outflank the enemy, and in defense, you must defend your flank and your back. Obviously, when you shoot, you need the line of sight, the free obstacle to the line of sight of your units, with the exception of those using magic and the catapults, and so the war machines, are all types of terrain except for plane and the enemy units. So the line of sight extends over your friendly units. Then we can select the archer and fire.
Who is the target to shoot?
We have this unit in our range, so we can shoot on them. As you can read, the unit types archers, crossbowmen and mages play a very important function of support in defense. If an enemy attacks a unit which has an archer, a crossbowman or a mage next to it, the unit will receive a defensive bonus. And remember, this is a very important rule. This support is valid only for one attack in each turn in defense.
Well done! It is always better to weaken an enemy from a distance before engaging in hand-to-hand combat.
This is a very important suggestion. You must try to follow this rule always during all your battles.
Now for the fray. I suggest you maneuver and hit the enemy at his flank.
And as I said to you before, remember that this rule of the front of the attack does not apply to units in villages, towns or terrain with buildings. When they are attacked, they are always considered as being in front of the attacker. All the axes with a building are very difficult to be conquered with just one simple attack. You must try always to kill the supporting units of this kind of units in buildings, and then attack with multiple units, before with the archers and then with the melee units, this kind of unit in defense.
Yes, my liege.
Here, as you can see, here we have a battle prediction that is similar range of damage for us and for the enemy. If we attack this side, it's a little bit better.
An excellent
but
attack.
we did the same
I
anyway.
do not understand why you have been compelled to this exercise, but we must go through with it. Hence, show me what you can do with the elven veterans.
Another important rule is the special abilities that can be activated. You have to study, understand, and use at the right time, because they are not infinite in each battle. The duration and effect that can be with bonuses but also maluses, so you have to use the special abilities at the right time, at the right place. That is the golden rule for each movement that you do in a battle. The right time, the right place.
It will not be easy to lead such strong elven veterans in war. Enjoy their power during this training. Now, show me what you can do with the magic powers of the Enchantress.
For the glory of Headmal!
Units with spells must not only move and attack, but they can also fire the spells. So they have more than just these two actions of movement and fire. And remember also that if you fire, you can't move, but if you move, you can fire. The spell can be always used.
Great! You can truly fight! Now let's see how you deploy the dwarves in defense.
And this is another action type very effective in defense that you can use in your
At your
battles.
orders, Commander.
Don't move and use this icon to entrench your unit, and you will have a bonus in defense.
Perfect! Now let us see what you can really do. You have the command. Capture the camp behind the river, if you can.
Now we are free to move and try to win this battle. And so
Yes, Commander.
we have just only the last unit that may move and attack. These two green circles say us that the unit still may move and attack. When the movement is done, the first circle becomes red. We won this battle, and so now we have red also the other circle in interface of the unit. And there's another rule: so when you kill a unit in a melee combat, after, if you want, you can advance in the X of the enemy units.
For the glory of Head
Here we
Mars.
have Eukarion, and Eukarion may attack this unit or kill probably this one. We will choose, but we want to defend the back of this infantry. It's always very important to defend the back of our friendly units. So we will move here, and we will not expose our back to firing this unit, but we will fire this one. And this unit is now demoralized. That is another important status of the units. When a unit is demoralized, can't move, stay there with a lot of maluses, and do a check every turn to change its status of demoralization. If a unit fails in his turn this check, it will stay demoralized also in that turn. Now we have 6 turns to achieve an epic victory. As I said you before, the first unit that I will choose is the archer, and we will shoot with them. We will not shoot the demoralized unit because it will be easy to kill them, but we will fire on the unit in the mountains that add a bonus in defense. As you can see from the interface, there's a +3 in defense. They have some maluses because their life is not in full, but they have a bonuses because they are in the mountains. So let's fire, and then we will attack this infantry with the dwarves infantry that has bonuses in the mountains, as I said before. So this is a racial modifier in the mountains.
Yes, my liege.
Still we don't kill them, so we will attack with these last infantry here. And finally we won.
Yes, Commander.
Advance,
For the
and now,
glory of Head Mars.
as you can see here, Eukarion, because it is an elven in Enchantress, has a very big bonus in defense entering in the woods. So we can expose there, we can expose her in the front line of this battle, because here in this position we are very strong, and then we can fire. And again we have enchanted darts, that is a second hit that we can inflict to our enemy, and we kill that unit. They inflicted us a loss, because it was a very good movement to attack us in that part of front.
Yes, Commander.
but we will have our revenge.
Yes, Commander.
Now,
The target to
first, again, the archers.
Yes, Commander.
Here you can see that since we have a bonus in the movements in the woods, and also the streets halve the cost of the movements of a plane X,
Yes,
here
Commander.
we can outflank completely the enemy and go in their back.
For
Eladen,
the glory of Headmaster.
we can conquer the village, but it will be better to move here and attack the enemies that did a bad movement here, because they moved, they tried probably to cross the river not using the bridge, and when a unit is on the river is very vulnerable to attacks. This is a very important simulative rule. We can see that in all the tactical situations, also in the contemporary war, the river are a very critical tactical point, and who cross who stays on the river is very vulnerable, and it's always better to defend with a river in front of you. But they did a very bad movement. They did a good movement when they attacked us on the back, our light infantry, but in this case our enemy did a very bad decision to stay here with the archers. Probably they want to shoot us, but we are Eladen.
For the glory of Headmaster.
Yes, Commander.
Now we can take the village. I will face the unit in another position, even if it's not fundamental in this case, because as I said before, when you are in a village, your front is always the front line, like you are. You can be attacked on the side or on the back. This is a very powerful defensive situation. We have a unit in a village that is supported by an archer.
At your orders,
And here we go, we have another unit of infantry.
For the glory of Headmaster.
Now, Eladen is a very particular unit because she has a fly movement, so she don't have any kind of problem from the terrain. But we will not move our hero here, for example, in the mountains, because we could have these maluses of defense, because all the elves have maluses in the mountains. They have a big bonus in the defense and in the attacks in the forests, but they have some problems in the mountains. So we move just one to stay in range of our attack. And as you can see, this unit is entrenched for 3 times in the encampment. So it is possible to entrench next for 5 times. Each time that this unit is attacked, and so with any kind of attack, ranged or melee, the unit loses 1 step of entrench. Our hit was very big, and so we caused a retreat of this unit. Let's see what happens next turn with the enemy. And they decided another very bad movement, that is not to try to defend the camp, but they tried to cross again the river, probably to counter-attack, but this is a very bad choice.
For the glory of Headmaster.
Now we can close this battle and tutorial with 2 movements and attacks. The first one will be to move our archers as usual. Now we have this unit in our range, we will kill them, so we have killed all the units,
For the
and
glory
with
of
Eladen
Headmaster.
we can conquer our main objectives here.
Congratulations, Commander! You have excelled in the exercises!
I hope that this introductive, this reinforced tutorial of the tutorial could be useful for you, will be useful for you, and see you next time on the battlefield.